So there's this company called Get Cleaning Clicks. I know, it's an interesting name, owned by a guy named Ray Malasky. Now, what's interesting about this is if your business does not get clicks, you do not have a business. It's a mind-bending concept, and I'm going to share it with you today. Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. If I don't know the answer, I'm connected to the best and the brightest minds in the house cleaning industry. And today is the perfect example of that, where Ray Malasky is going to come on our show, and he's going to tell us all about Get Cleaning Clicks. All right, here's the concept. In order for somebody to hire your cleaning business, they have to click on something. They have to click on a Yelp ad or a Google ad, or they have to find you on House Cleaning 360, or they have to click on your website, or they have to click on an ad that you made on social media, on Facebook or somewhere else, or they have to click on their phone in order to call you, right? So no business gets made until clicks are made. And so how do you get those clicks? Well, there's a guy, and he started out in the house cleaning business, and he asked himself this very question. And it is brilliant what he has discovered. So with that, please help me welcome Ray Malasky.
Just to give you a little bit of background on myself, I owned a maid service and I was just like pretty much everybody out there. I had no internet skills, I had no marketing skills. I was working a full time job, and our kids finally, we were empty. Well, I guess semi empty nesters where our kids were in school, right? So my wife finally had time to deal with more things on her plate than just staying at home. And there was a choice of, do we go to school? What do we do with our time? So she loved cleaning, that was, and she was really good at it. Our every time we had people over, oh my God, your house is so clean. It was like one of those things that I'm sure many of you guys can relate to. You were good at it, you had a passion about it. So I'm like, hey, why don't we open a maid service? And my wife was like, well, you think it'll work? And I said, well, I really don't know, to be honest with you, but why don't we try? So, we did. And the first thing I did is I went on the web and I started researching cleaning businesses. And, you got to think back, this is like 7 years ago. So the internet wasn't as competitive it is as it is now with the cleaning service industry. But, we were able to see some examples of what other people are doing online. And, I didn't even know what Google Ads was at that time. So I had literally no idea where to begin. And I read an article about Google My Business profiles, and I'm like, okay, what is this? And it's where a business can go in and set up its profile on Google, and it shows in the map pack. So if somebody locally to you Google's cleaning service near me, you're, depending on the competition, obviously, you show in that map pack. So I created that Google My Business profile, and then literally forgot about it. And then probably about 2 weeks later, the wife and I were sitting on the couch and the phone rang, and I didn't think nothing of it. I just picked up the phone, hello. And they're like, hi, is this Missy's maids? I'm like, oh yeah, hold on one second. Just handed the phone off to my wife. She took that call, and that was our first customer and our first contact into actually becoming a legit business. And from there, over the years, it spiraled out, and we had several cleaners service several locations, uh, did a total rebrand, new website, and that's where I learned my marketing skills from.
Now, you have a business that's based all around creating clicks for cleaning companies, which is amazing. But I got a question for you because this was 7 years ago when you started your business. And there are a lot of house cleaners today that believe that they can just use social media and they don't need a website. Are websites dead?
Websites are not dead. So, fast forward now, right? We're 7 years ago. I own a marketing company that markets for cleaning services. We have $1 million cleaning customers, and you will find probably 70% of the traffic comes from Google My Business. Then 30% comes from the organic listing underneath that. And this is all on the first page of Google. So type in house cleaning near me or maid service in your city name, and what shows up there, those are where the traffic is coming from.
So which comes first, social media or the website?
This really depends on your budget because if you're a hustler and you can work the Facebook groups, the local mom and pop swap groups, and you can really target your market with social media posts and advertising, it's an affordable way to do it through social media, but the lead generation it's minimal. It's not like consistent and you've got to work hard at it. So it's hard to create a system where you turn it on and it just fires and the leads come like it is with Google Ads or SEO.
So, would you say that a website is kind of like a hub where when you do social media, you drive people back to your website for additional information?
Absolutely. Yes, it is. Now, without getting too extreme in how technical this can become, your website is strictly for organic traffic. If you have these other channels, you have to have a dedicated, targeted landing page focused for those channels. So let's say, for example, I want to do Facebook, right? So you have your website and then you create a targeted landing page on your website. So it's like mywebsite.com/ Facebook fans. And on this page, all the content is geared around your Facebook audience. Hey, we love our Facebook fans. Here's 10% off our first cleaning for Facebook fans only. Throw some Facebook reviews on there. Everything's targeted around Facebook because the tighter you have your message to that market, the higher conversion rate you get. So when you have people coming from Facebook to your business and you can merge that brandability with Facebook on that landing page with your business, you're going to get a higher conversion rate.
So, is it fair to say that I can just have a landing page or does there need to be more on my website?
You definitely need to have both. And if we're talking about a complete marketing plan, you've got to have a website, you've got to have landing pages, and you've got to be working every avenue you possibly can to get as much traffic as possible to that website.
So, if I'm a brand new house cleaning company and okay, you've talked me into getting a website.
Mhm.
What am I supposed to put on it? Are there like three things that I should have on my website that are kind of standard in the industry?
Absolutely. When somebody lands on your site, they need to know who you are, what you do, where you do it, and how can they get a hold of you. So it's really four things that you have to solve. But as soon as somebody lands on your site, you got to answer those four questions.
And so I've heard the term navigation tossed around when it comes to websites. How important is navigation and what does that mean?
Ease of navigation is what you as a website owner wants to consider. So the customer comes and they want to get the information. It's your job to put that information in front of them and make that as easy as possible. You have to tell them, go here. Don't let them just click around on your site. When they come to that landing page, have a button that says, learn about our services. And on the services page, have a button that says, get your instant quote now or get your quote now, whatever your call to action is. Designing that to give them the most information in a contextual format. And when I say contextual format, I mean nicely designed, clear call to actions.
And call to action is a term that marketers use, but many house cleaners are not familiar with that term. Can you explain to us what a call to action is?
That's a very good point. So a call to action is telling the customer that's arrived on your site what you want them to do next. Assume everybody's a 3-year-old and they have no idea. When they land on that site, some people want to call you right away. Some people want to just submit a quote form just to try to get an online pricing or something. Some people want to know they're more serious. They have a higher intent to purchase. So maybe they want to know who is the owner of the company and what are they about and are there happy customers? And then once you solve that problem for them, then get the quote.
So if I'm just starting my house cleaning business, should I start with the Google ads first or should I start with the website first?
Well, this all depends on where your budget is. The downside to Google Ads is it's extremely technical, and Google does offer support to help set up a free AdWords account. Do your own due diligence, do your own research in setting up your campaigns. However, it is a good source of leads if you can figure it out. I mean, there's no other platform where you could literally throw money at it and bam, the phone's ringing. I mean, that's what Google Ads does.
Now, you just used a word that I have to ask about. You used the word campaigns. And
Mhm.
I know that many house cleaners that are just starting in the business We clean houses, but what the heck are campaigns? And what does that have to do with having a website and marketing?
Any form of marketing is considered a campaign. When you do Google AdWords, you're building a campaign out for paid traffic. And when you're doing Facebook ads, you're building a campaign out for Facebook ads. And when you're doing SEO, you're building a campaign out for SEO. So that's the reference I use in campaigns. And inside Google AdWords, they actually call it a campaign when you set it up. So it's kind of like the inner workings of Google AdWords and how it works.
So, if you're just starting out in the house cleaning business and you're focused on getting leads, is it better to, you said, do your due diligence? Is it better to do your due diligence and try to go down this rabbit hole of how do I learn marketing and search engine optimization and how do I make a website and all these things? Or is it better to hire somebody just like yourself that has spent 7 years figuring it out day and night and you've got the answers and you know it better than Google and you're just the guy to go to? Would it just make more sense to hire someone like yourself?
And there it goes. It depends on the budget again, right? So it took me 5 years to figure AdWords out. I spent thousands of dollars on wasted ad spend figuring out what works. If you have the time and the energy and you have that passion for it, it's kind of interesting that you asked that question because I have a client. He's got a technical background. He's actually a developer. He chose to hire me to do his marketing, even though he has a technical aptitude to do it. He has a technical aptitude to do SEO, but we do his SEO. He could do Google AdWords, but we do his AdWords. Um, and he took all that energy that he could be putting in there and put it into the back end of his business, hiring, training, recruiting, delivering quality, increasing the lifetime value, all these key things in a business that so many people overlook because he chose to pay somebody else to do that for him. He's like, you know what? I don't know it. I don't have the time to know it. Ray, you do know it. I trust you. Let me hire you to do this. You work on the front end of my business. I'll work on the back end of the business. And that's a fine tuned oiled machine right there. When you're delivering a quality cleaning every time and your marketing's firing on all cylinders and you put those two things together, that's when you get your biggest return on investment for marketing.
Well, you said something that really frightened me. You said it took you 5 years and thousands of dollars by trial and error.
Yeah.
And a lot of house cleaners starting out don't have 5 years and they don't have thousands of dollars. So if you're gonna spend thousands of dollars, wouldn't it make more sense? This is just playing devil's advocate here.
Yes.
Wouldn't it just make more sense to hire the guy that knows it in the first place?
It would. It absolutely would. And it would make sense for you to take that time and focus on the back end of your business.
Well, there are lots of things I know that you can offer house cleaning companies because you have a company called Get Cleaning Clicks. And so tell us a little bit about Get Cleaning Clicks because that sounds very specific for the house cleaning industry.
I went from marketing maid services to saying, hey, I could take this skill set, do painters' websites, anybody in the service industry. I kind of got it figured out, right? Well, what I found out is that we are very uniquely qualified to handle cleaning companies. And we have a very special skill set that really adds value to a cleaning business owner. So Get Cleaning Clicks was formed in the beginning of this year where we just focus on helping cleaning business owners because it's what we're best at and it's what our clients get the best returns on. So that was like a no-brainer for us. And we're a full marketing suite too. So web design, graphic design, search engine optimization, Google AdWords.
Well, the reason I ask is because instead of just hiring the neighbor to help me with SEO, it makes more sense in my head to hire someone who knows the lingo of the business and who already knows what keywords we're going after and who already has a cleaning service so that they understand where I'm trying to head with my goals as far as marketing goes. Please tell us, how can we hire you and how can we find you and learn more about your business?
You can go to getcleaningclicks.com and you will see a little free strategy session. Now, these are pretty detailed. Like we go deep into the market. We look at the competition and we look at the volume out there and we pretty much tell you what kind of market you're in now and what we think the foreseeable future looks like for your cleaning business. And we'll do that for free. So you just fill out that form. There's a little questionnaire where we want to know more about your business, how many technicians do you have, what's your current revenue, that kind of stuff, because this helps us communicate better to you on the best way to move forward with what you have.
And that, my friends, is Ray Malasky with Get Cleaning Clicks. It all makes sense now, right? All right, so if you have questions, Ray is the perfect guy to answer all of those questions because he knows far more about the internet and technology and search engine optimization and Facebook ads and all that stuff than I will ever know in this lifetime. But it makes perfect sense to go to the person that has the answers instead of fumbling your way through and wasting 5 years and thousands of dollars of your time on trial and error. So there you have it, Ray Malasky. Alrighty, if you found this helpful, please pass it on. If we've earned your subscription, please subscribe. And until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.